Alina had spent most of her adult life in quiet routine. At 38 years old, she had never married. The weight of financial burdens had always kept her from finding the right person, from thinking about marriage at all, really. Teaching at a local high school kept her busy and satisfied, but there were moments when she felt the pangs of loneliness, watching her friends raise families, hearing their stories of love. She often told herself that it was for the best. She didn't need anyone. She had her students, her books, and her small, cozy home. But everything changed the day John stepped into her class. John was different. At 19, he had an air of mystery about him that none of the other students could quite match. He was attractive, yes, but there was something more, a quiet intensity that seemed to follow him wherever he went. He was brilliant, excelling in every subject without much effort, and although he rarely spoke up in class, when he did, his words always carried weight. Alina couldn't help but feel drawn to him, though she tried to keep her distance. After all, he was just a student. One chilly autumn evening, Alina was walking home from school, lost in thought. The leaves crunched beneath her feet and the world around her felt peaceful. She was thinking about how to prepare for the next lesson when she heard the screech of tires. A car sped around the corner, out of control, hurtling toward her. For a split second, she froze, unable to react as the car barreled down the street. Suddenly, a blur of movement appeared in front of her. Strong hands grabbed her, pulling her out of the way just in time. The car raced past, missing her by inches. Alina found herself gasping for air, shaken but unharmed, staring into the calm, steady eyes of John. You saved me," she whispered, still in shock. John smiled faintly, his grip on her arm gentle but firm. "You should be more careful, Ms. Alina." That night, unable to stop thinking about what had happened, Alina invited John to a nearby coffee shop. It was the least she could do after he had saved her life. They sat across from each other in the cozy cafe, sipping warm drinks, the air between them charged with something unspoken. As they spent more time together, something shifted between them. Their conversations flowed easily, moving from school topics to personal ones. Alina found herself laughing at John's dry humor, and she realized just how lonely she had been. John, too, seemed different when they were alone. He was more open, less guarded. The more they talked, the closer they grew. But as the weeks passed, Alina began to feel conflicted. She was undeniably attracted to John, and he seemed to feel the same way. But how could she, a 38-year-old woman, fall for someone so young? And more importantly, could he really be interested in her, or was she just imagining things? One evening, as they sat together in the park after school, Alina couldn't hold back her feelings any longer. "John," she said, her voice soft, "I need to tell you something. I know it's wrong. I know you're younger than me, but I think I'm falling in love with you." John's expression didn't change. He looked at her, his eyes as calm as ever, but after a long pause, he simply stood up. "I'm sorry," he said quietly. "I can't." And then he walked away. Alina was left sitting there, stunned. She had expected him to say something, anything, but not this. Her heart ached in ways she hadn't thought possible. The next day, John didn't come to school, nor did he come the day after that. Alina waited, hoping to see him, hoping for an explanation, but he never returned. Concerned, Alina decided to visit John's house. She knew it was an unusual thing to do, but she needed answers. When she arrived, she was greeted by his parents. They were kind, but something about them felt off. Their skin was pale, almost unnaturally so, and their eyes had a strange, distant look. They spoke politely, but Alina couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. As she left their house, a gnawing sense of unease settled in her stomach. She couldn't explain it, but there was something strange about John's family. Over the next few days, she couldn't stop thinking about them, about John, his sudden disappearance, and the odd behavior of his parents. Then one night, while doing some research online, she stumbled upon something that made her blood run cold. A local legend about werewolves. Alina couldn't believe what she was reading. It seemed impossible, absurd even. But the more she dug into the history of the town and its strange occurrences, the more convinced she became. John and his family were werewolves. Trying to move on, Alina threw herself into her work. A new student, Peter, joined her class, and from the very first day, it was clear that he had taken an interest in her. Peter was charming and persistent, always trying to impress her. But no matter how hard he tried, Alina's heart wasn't in it. She had fallen for John and no one else could take his place. Peter's advances became more insistent. One evening, as Alina was walking home, Peter appeared out of nowhere and invited her to dinner. She declined politely, but the next day she found a letter in her mailbox, a love note from Peter. It made her uncomfortable, but she tried to brush it off. The situation escalated when, one afternoon, Peter confronted her in the street. Before she could react, he kissed her, without permission. Alina was shocked, pushing him away and slapping him across the face. "Don't ever do that again," she warned him. But Peter was obsessed. His eyes darkened with anger, and he pulled a knife from his jacket, brandishing it in front of her. Just as Alina felt fear grip her, something enormous crashed through the bushes nearby. A giant wolf, with glowing eyes and massive claws, leaped at Peter, knocking him to the ground. Peter screamed as the wolf tore into him, and within moments the creature had vanished into the night, leaving Peter barely conscious and bleeding on the sidewalk. Alina knew who the wolf was. It had to be John. She called an ambulance for Peter, but her mind was racing. John had saved her again, but why had he disappeared in the first place? And why had he come back now? Determined to find answers, Alina made a decision. She would leave the school, leave the town, and try to start fresh somewhere else. But deep down, she knew she couldn't outrun her feelings for John. On her first day at the new school, as she returned home that evening, she saw a familiar figure standing near her house. John was waiting for her. "So you're a werewolf," she said, her voice barely a whisper. John's face was unreadable as he nodded. "I didn't tell you because I wasn't sure if you could accept me for what I am. That's why I left. But I've always loved you, Alina. I never stopped." Alina felt a wave of emotions wash over her. She had been so afraid, so uncertain. But hearing John's words now, everything seemed to fall into place. She stepped forward and kissed him, gently, letting her feelings finally come to the surface. "I love you too," she whispered. "No matter what you are." For the first time in a long while, Alina felt at peace. She didn't know what the future would hold, but with John by her side, she was ready to face it. Together, they would navigate whatever challenges came their way, even if it meant embracing the unknown world of werewolves. Amanda stood by the window of her new apartment, gazing out at the rolling hills of the California countryside. She had recently moved here with her close friend Lily, excited for a fresh start. What Lily didn't know, though, was that Amanda carried a dark secret. She was a vampire. Amanda wasn't like other girls in the town, and this secret made her feel distant from those around her, even from Lily. But when Amanda enrolled in music classes, she didn't expect her world to collide with someone else's just as extraordinary. She noticed him immediately. Adam. He was tall, with strikingly intense eyes, and the way he held himself was different from the others. There was something primal about him, something magnetic. Every time he strummed his guitar, Amanda felt a pull, an attraction she couldn't shake. And soon she realized why. He wasn't human either. Their first conversation happened when Amanda mustered up the courage to invite Adam for coffee after class. Sitting across from him, Amanda felt something stirring within her that she hadn't felt in a long time. As they talked, laughed, and shared stories, she found herself drawn to him in ways she couldn't explain. But it wasn't long before Amanda's joy was clouded with guilt. Lily, her dear friend, was falling for Adam too. Amanda faced a dilemma that gnawed at her. She loved Adam, but she knew she wasn't the right person for him. Vampires weren't supposed to love humans. She wasn't even supposed to get close to someone like Adam, let alone fall in love. And Lily was such a good person. Amanda didn't want to hurt her. She made the decision that Lily should have her chance with Adam. When Lily confessed her feelings for Adam to Amanda, pushing her emotions deep down, encouraged her friend to pursue him. "He'll be better with you," she whispered, forcing a smile. But Adam wasn't drawn to Lily the way she had hoped. They spent time together, but he never crossed that line of friendship, something that frustrated Lily more and more. One evening, Lily tried to kiss Adam, but he pulled away. He couldn't pretend anymore. He told her he cared for her deeply, but only as a friend. That night, Lily came home heartbroken, telling Amanda about the rejection. Amanda's heart broke too, in a different way, and she tried to comfort Lily, advising her to take things slowly. But deep down, Amanda knew that Adam didn't love Lily. He loved her. Days passed, and Adam began to distance himself from Lily, focusing more on Amanda. Despite Amanda's attempts to keep her distance, the tension between them grew. She could see it in his eyes, feel it in the way he lingered near her. Finally, one afternoon when they were alone, Adam couldn't resist any longer. He reached for Amanda and kissed her. It was electric, a kiss that unlocked all the emotions she had kept hidden. She kissed him back, their connection undeniable. But then, the moment shattered. Lily had seen them. Her scream pierced the air as she accused Amanda of betrayal. Amanda tried to explain, to tell her that she had never meant for this to happen, but Lily wouldn't listen. The pain in her friend's eyes was unbearable. Lily stormed out, and by the time Amanda returned to the apartment, all of Lily's belongings were gone. Distraught, Amanda turned to Adam for answers, but he hadn't heard from Lily either. Adam apologized for the kiss, but also confessed his true feelings. "It's always been you, Amanda, not Lily. I love you." Tears welled up in Amanda's eyes. "I can't, Adam," she whispered. "I'm not who you think I am. I'm engaged." It was a lie, a desperate attempt to push him away, to protect them both from the dangers of what she was. That night, Adam returned home feeling something was wrong. The atmosphere was different, the sense of being watched. He walked cautiously to the balcony and was shocked to find Lily hiding there, her face pale, her eyes wild. "What are you doing here?" he demanded. "I love you," Lily said, her voice trembling, "and I'll do anything for you. Just tell me what you want." Adam, though sympathetic, was firm. "This isn't right, Lily. You need to go." The next day, Amanda received a call from the hospital. Lily had hurt herself. Amanda rushed to her side, scolding her for doing something so reckless. She tried to comfort her, to tell her that Adam wasn't meant for her, that she deserved someone who truly loved her. But Lily remained cold, her anger simmering just beneath the surface. The next day, Lily was gone again, this time from the entire town. Days passed and Amanda and Adam avoided each other. They exchanged glances, unable to fully break away from their growing bond, but neither made a move. Then, one night, Adam was walking home from a party, and a sense of dread washed over him. He realized he was being followed. Before he could react, a group of vampires surrounded him, Lily among them. Lily didn't look like herself anymore. Her expression was twisted, her eyes glowing with malevolence. Adam tried to transform into his werewolf form, but they subdued him, capturing him before he could fight back. They dragged him deep into the forest, where Lily revealed their plan to sacrifice him to gain power. Desperate, Adam sent his location to Amanda. When she saw the message, her heart raced with fear. She called him, but there was no answer. She rushed to the forest, knowing she couldn't fight them all. When she arrived, she played along, pretending to join the vampires. "I want to be with you," she told Lily, her voice steady though her mind raced. But she was planning their escape. At the perfect moment, Amanda released Adam and, in a flash, transformed into her vampire form, whisking him away into the night. They fled to her home, but when they arrived, the vampires were already there, waiting for them. Amanda and Adam were trapped. They fought valiantly, but they were outnumbered. Just as all seemed lost, something changed in Lily. Her face softened, and she turned on the other vampires, helping Amanda and Adam escape. But her defiance cost her her life. The vampires destroyed her in retaliation. Amanda collapsed in grief, not knowing how it had come to this. Adam held her close, their shared pain palpable. "She didn't deserve this," Amanda whispered, tears streaming down her face. "No, she didn't," Adam agreed, his voice raw with emotion. But they both knew they had to move on. Despite their differences, despite the pain, they were drawn together by something deeper than they could explain. In the aftermath of it all, Amanda and Adam kissed again, sealing their love, knowing they were meant for each other, even if the world tried to keep them apart.